Hey everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and today you might have noticed a couple of changes over the last week or so. Yeah, there's a new logo, there's a new intro, there's a new banner on the YouTube page, a new banner on Twitter, new everything. If you watched my live stream, which I know some of you did, thank you for that. I talked about how my new PC finally came in, and there's going to be a few changes for the channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more live streams for gaming, but I've decided to expand my content. Obviously, I'm still going to talk about Star Wars. I love Star Wars. That's number one on every single list that I have, right? But of course, I love DC and I love Marvel and I love all these other franchises too. And to be frankly honest, for the last several months, there just hasn't been a whole lot of Star Wars stuff happening. Ever since Mando ended, it was pretty much just a couple of rumors here and some dramatic stuff over there on Twitter, and that's pretty much it for Star Wars. So really, I was like, you know what? I've been watching Wandavision. I want to talk about Wandavision. So I've decided to expand my horizons. This channel will now be covering pretty much anything that I want to talk about, really, but it's all still going to be nerd focused, DC Comics, Marvel, and more. That's basically where we're at now. So still Star Wars. I'm still going to talk about every Star Wars show that comes out, so don't worry, this is not content going away. This is just more stuff being added, because frankly, I need more stuff to talk about. And yeah, like many people, WandaVision has been on my mind for the last month, and wow. So the finale happened. It ended. I've now seen the whole show. We all have. Spoiler alert, by the way. Obviously, if you haven't watched the show, you should go watch it and then come back, because I'm just going to talk about it, give my overall reviews of, overall opinion of the whole show as a whole. Yeah. Okay, so to start off with, I'm just going to talk about the finale. This has been a divisive one. This is a little bit more mixed than I'm sure that they wanted it to be. And here's the thing. It started this whole discussion about, people theorizing and holding on to their theories, and this happens a lot with a lot of different franchises, where the fans will go on YouTube or social media and other places. They'll come up with like these great ideas and things that might happen, or clues that they think that they've found for things that could possibly happen, by the end of the show. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. Some people are out there saying it's like detrimental to the experience. I disagree with that. I think that that's just part of being a fan. It's always been there. You always want to like kind of just talk about it with your friends and kind of discuss what may or may not happen next. So there's nothing wrong at all with theorizing and speculating and stuff like that. Like, that's absolutely fine. I do think that when you get disappointed with a finale or disappointed with a movie or however it turned out, there is at least a big portion of that does fall on the fans for maybe where their headspace was at, because especially with YouTube, it's led to a lot of like, oh, this is gonna happen, or oh, I heard this source over here tell me that this thing is gonna happen. And this kind of gets into the broader spectrum of scoopers and leakers and stuff like that. Look, it's a larger conversation, but in general, I don't think the scoop, the community of scoopers and leakers, I don't think it's a bad thing, really. It can be bad. It can lead to bad things sometimes if certain people let it happen. But as a whole, as a concept, I think, again, it's just a part of being a fan. So, people read scoops and people read supposed leaks, and some of them came very true. Like, Evan Peters was in the show, but of course he turned out to not be who everyone wanted him to be, or at least thought he could be. And there's other things like Mephisto didn't show up, and Nightmare didn't show up, and all these special things that maybe happened. So some of that is definitely on the fans. It's fun to speculate, it's fun to theorize, it's fun to go into scooper culture and leak culture and all this stuff. but you do have to keep yourself in check. You know, you have to not let yourself fall in love with your own ideas or other people's theories. So I know that Mephisto was like a thing a lot of people were like holding on to desperately, but you can't let yourself fall in love with that, because the show, you know, the show never said the word Mephisto. The show never like showed a shadowy devil looking figure. So that's not on the show. However, I will say this, there are other things that people were disappointed by that I do think are very much on the show's fault. Specifically, I'm talking about the Evan Peters Quicksilver thing, because they did that on purpose. And that's the thing, is that like there's no reality where, you know, they cast Evan Peters to play a fake version of Quicksilver, a character we all know he played in the Fox movies, and they didn't know how fans would react to that. They knew exactly how fans would react to that. They knew that a large portion of them are going to say, you know, they're going to jump immediately to, oh, this is officially a Fox X-Men crossover, and they're going to get really excited and hyped up, and they're going to jump out of their seats, and all these reaction videos are going to show up online, and that's exactly what happened. They knew that. There's no way they did not know that. You know, Kevin Feige especially, he absolutely knew, hey, if we hire the actor who plays Quicksilver in a different universe to play a fake version of Quicksilver in this universe, fans are going to lose their minds. Now, it worked. It was everywhere. It was trending. It was #1 on all the Google search results. It was everywhere. So on that part, you know, hey, good job on them. It worked. But this is something that I think has validity to it. Fans are right to be kind of upset that, you know, not that it didn't turn out to literally be the Fox Quicksilver X-Man, but that it turned out to just be a joke, you know? Because, for example, I would have been absolutely fine if it was not literally that Quicksilver. In fact, I kind of suspected that it wasn't, because I was kind of struggling to see, like, well, how does this fake reality go into like a multiverse thing? I don't really see a connection there, but I was expecting it to at least be somebody. Maybe it was Mephisto, or maybe it's just some kind of illusion created by Agatha or something. But at the end of the day, it was just a joke. It was just a, you know, he's just a guy with the last name Boner, and that's it. He was just another possessed guy. And there was no significance about him. There's no real reason why Agatha chose that guy specifically. Apparently, like he doesn't look like her. He doesn't look like Wanda's brother, and she, as far as we know, she doesn't know that he looks like the X-Men version of Quicksilver. Only the audience, only we know that. So why did she even choose him? It literally could have been any other actor, and it would have, the story still would have played out exactly as it did. The only reason they cast Evan Peters is because they knew the way that we would react. So for the Quicksilver thing, I actually do put that on them. That's actually their fault. They did this to us. So, you know, it's overall, I will say this before I keep on, because I know I'm kind of being a downer now about the finale of WandaVision. I'll say this right now. Emotionally, I felt very satisfied with the finale. You know, on an emotional level, I connected with Wanda and Vision on a level that I never have before, and I feel like there was a lot of closure there, especially with Wanda, and she said her final goodbyes, and you know, it feels like she reached a new stage in her life. And so on that front, for like the two main characters of the show, it felt like they had their conclusion. But for a lot of the other things in the show, it felt like they kind of dropped the ball. You know, Pietro was not Pietro, and he wasn't even anything else. He was just a joke. Darcy, weirdly, I don't know what happened here, but Darcy shows up for literally maybe 15 seconds. She drives her truck into Hayward's car, blocking him from escaping. She says, "Ha, have fun in jail." And then she doesn't show up for like the big goodbye, which I thought was kind of odd. Vision, the white Vision, he gets his memories back, which, you know, you can argue, oh, he got his memories back, that means he's like 100% himself. You can kind of argue that no, he's still a different guy who now basically has someone else's memories, you know. So okay, I can see that argument, but then he flies away with no explanation. So that's kind of odd, like no one, and then no one brings it up, no one mentioned it, you know. Wanda didn't ask, hey, what happened to the white vision that you fought, where did he go, because that was your body. Like no one brought it up. So it's weird. This finale was kind of weird in that there were so many parts that I did feel closure with, and I felt landed really well, and then other parts it felt like there must have been deleted scenes or plot lines that they just, you know, they didn't film because they're like, no, you know what, we're gonna save that for a movie or something, we're not gonna do that now. Because it really felt like there was supposed to be something more here with several of these characters, and it ended up being nothing. You know, another thing, the astrophysicist thing, that ended up going nowhere for 3 episodes in a row. The show, you know, if you watch the way that they filmed it, if you watch the way that they emphasized the astrophysicist, they were doing it very much on purpose. This was not like a fan created theory thing. They were very much trying to emphasize the astrophysicist to get the fans to look in that direction. Now, I know, of course, you can say like, well, that's just a misdirect, you know, they're trying to distract you with stuff over here when really all the stuff is happening on the other hand. Like, so okay, so I get that, but still, it's like with the astrophysicist going nowhere, with Pietro going nowhere, with this white vision kind of getting his memories back but then not really doing anything, it felt like a lot of things in the finale of the show kind of just got dropped, and it's like, well, we'll do this later, you know. And then of course Monica's being set up for Captain Marvel 2, which is fine because we knew that was going to happen, but it's, in a weird way, it felt like this show was not allowed to have a true finale because there's going to be more Marvel, you know. And so it's kind of funny in a way where it's like this was all about like grief and acceptance and all that stuff, but it still feels like, at least partly, I'm still waiting. Like I haven't gotten there yet, because she's going to show up in Doctor Strange 2, Monica's going to show up in Captain Marvel 2, you know, and we just have to envision, who knows where he's going to show up. So there's just stuff that I still don't quite get. I'm gonna rewatch the whole show now, that, especially now that I know where it's all going. I'm gonna rewatch the whole show. I think the Pietro thing is definitely the biggest offense here. I can get over it. It's, you know, I understand why they did it business wise. I understand why they did it. You know, and it worked. You know, it got WandaVision to be the top rated thing in the world for who knows how many weeks, right? But it kind of felt cheap at the end when it was nothing. It was literally nothing. So I don't know. Basically, here's the best way I can sum it up. WandaVision finale, it felt emotionally conclusive, but it did not feel narratively conclusive. It didn't feel like the story actually was allowed to end, when it feels like it was ready to end, but it wasn't allowed to, because like, nope, we got more stuff to do. Which, don't get me wrong, obviously I'm excited to see Doctor Strange 2 and all that, but it felt like they could have done a little bit more here, especially because there's not going to be a season 2. You know, this situation's wrapped up. Wanda didn't really face any consequences. I'm sure that's going to show back up. You know, the fact, you know, Doctor Strange must have heard, like, hey, did you hear that Wanda did this thing? Like, and she kidnapped like a town full of people. I'm sure that's going to be an issue later down the road. But I don't know. On the whole, it was still really great television, and, you know, you can't deny what it did, even if by the end of it, it kind of felt like it cheated a little to get to its hype moments. It kind of cheated, especially with the Pietro thing. I'm sorry, that's gonna bother me. I know some people out there are like, oh, it's not a big deal, just get over it. It's like the Mandarin from Iron Man 3. Look, I'm not gonna lie, the Mandarin from Iron Man 3 still kind of bothers me. They literally had to go and make a small short film, or, you know, little 5-minute movie segment on the DVD of Thor 2, just to go back and say, no, don't worry, there really is a Mandarin, you know. So I'm not even gonna go down that road, but my point is, I don't like it when they do this. They know what we're expecting because they kind of tease it in front of you, and then they pull a fast one and they're like, ha, it's actually nothing. And it's like, why would you give us nothing? I'm okay if it's not what I expect, but you still have to give us something. But it's just boner guy, I guess, who's nobody. Okay, anyways, look, overall I liked it, but that aspect at least definitely still bothered me a little. I don't know. Overall, it's great. It's a good show still. I can't deny that. I'm just gonna be bothered by that little bit for a while, but I'll watch the whole show again. Maybe I'll feel better about it. I don't know. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about WandaVision, the entire show, or just the finale, or whatever you want to talk about. It was good. It was good. And look, Falcon and Winter Soldier is coming up next. I feel like Falcon and Winter Soldier is not going to be nearly as susceptible, if I'm using that word right, to theories and crazy expectations of what might happen, because it's so much more grounded in reality. We're not kind of in that world where it's like, oh, the multiverse is going to rip open and Xavier's going to show up. We're not kind of in that world anymore with Falcon Winter Soldier, so like in that way it feels like we might have an easier time because we're not expecting craziness. Leave that for Loki. I think Loki's going to be the crazy one where we go back to like anything could happen. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you're excited about. Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think that's like the next big thing that's coming up. And let me know what other stuff you want me to cover on this channel, because honestly at this point I'm just gonna cover stuff I want to talk about. I know Zack Snyder's Justice League is coming out. I have my opinions on that. I'm sure I'll make that video, and I'll just be talking about everything really. So of course this will still be a Star Wars channel, but it's going to be Star Wars plus everything else channel. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.